let's switch it up and look at some
of control
weird
beauty standards. But what's interesting is that they're different all around the world.
Okay.
Number 20, Japanese geisha.
Now let's
According
skip
to
like,
official stuff, a geisha is a female.
let's skip to the
Number
worst
8,
ones.
tooth filing ceremony in Bali, Indonesia.
That sounds painful.
Between the ages of 6 years old and 18 years old,
6.
girls in Bali may undergo a ritual in which they have their teeth filed. Now, it may sound strange, but it has been a part of this culture for generations, and the whole thing is actually a really lengthy ritual way beyond the bit where they file the kid's front teeth. It's a whole ceremony in which the child wears fancy robes, they're laid down on a special mat, there are women surrounding her, and music is played. The priest places a wedge in the child's mouth and then begins to file her front teeth.
That does not seem healthy. Why are we doing this?
They apparently modify the 2 upper canines, mostly for reasons of beautification. After this part of the ceremony, the child will then be isolated at home for 3 days, and then they must eat special foods with 6 different tastes: sweet, salty, spicy, bitter, sour, and burnt. And then, apparently, they're good to go for life. Number 7, fair-skinned Korean. In South Korea, there's a beauty standard which is rooted in racism. The desire to have the whitest skin possible is a strong
True.
beauty standard in South Korean culture, but it's also problematic as it's based on colorist. This is racism that regards paler complexions as preferable, and this is usually within ethnic groups in which some members are treated better on the account of their lighter skin. In Korea, there's a fashion trend toward having the palest complexion, and this is not only propped up by the cosmetics industry there, it's also actively promoted. Number 6, Bodh tribe's fattest man considered to be the hottest. Apparently, in the Bodh tribe in Ethiopia, the men are in competition to grow the biggest belly of them all. In many parts of the world, we're constantly being bombarded with garbage advertisements for useless tips to lose belly fat, but for the men of this tribe, their goal is quite the opposite. Once a year, the men who participate come together to show off their big bellies. They spend a lot of time working on growing that gut as well.
How do you even do that? Like, just your stomach?
Spending 6 months prior to the competition engaging in drinking a whole lot of cow's milk and blood. This, they reckon, is the best route to a big belly, although pizza and donuts would probably do the job equally as well, and would certainly involve a lot less blood drinking. Anyways, here we are. Tradition here determines that a man with a big belly is more attractive, and the man with the biggest wins the respect of his tribe.
Interesting.
Number 5.
Don't know if I can get with that one.
Chinese foot binding.
Oh, I've heard of this.
This was the practice that existed in China from the 10th century until 1949, when the People's Republic of China was established. It involved the binding, by tightly wrapping in bandages, feet of women to adhere to a restrictive and painful beauty aesthetic. It began when girls were between the ages of 4 and 6 years old, sometimes as young as 3, or up to the age of 12, when their female family members would begin binding their feet while they were still growing, all in order to restrict them from becoming too large.
How do you even find shoes then? Like, they
the
must be so
ideal
tiny.
length at the time was considered to be just 3 inches long. It was a brutal and dangerous practice, and the girls' feet would grow deformed. It could even cause paralysis, gangrene, and ulceration. And if it became infected, girls could even die from the foot binding. The binding, which began when she was a child, would then be continued for the rest of the girl's life. Number 4. Lip perforation in the Zoe tribe. The Zoe are an isolated tribe living deep within the Amazon rainforest of Brazil, and these people only first had any sustained contact with the outside world when a group of meddlesome missionaries built a base on their land in 1987. Since then, there have been laws passed, and the tribe has been officially recognized by the Brazilian government, and their land has been restricted to outsiders in order to prevent the spread of diseases like flu and the measles, which could be deadly to the tribe.
Again, what is the point of that? What? I don't like that. I don't like that. What are we doing?
This tribe all wear a specific adornment on their lip, known as the ember pot. The long wooden plug is inserted through the lower lip of
Next.
Number 3. Dasanak tribe turns trash into beautiful jewelry.
Depends on how
One
you do
man's
it.
trash is another man's treasure, or whatever that nafold saying is. The Dasanak tribe of Ethiopia use stuff that they found lying about, stuff that they've scavenged in order to create beautiful and unique headdresses. While recycling is currently very much in vogue, this sort of thing is something that the shabby old tabloids just love to get a hold of and crank out as a story, apparently.
Okay, I can get with that.
And although this particular tribe is certainly doing an unusual job with the recycling malarkey, they're not alone. People who live in poor communities all over the world take things that are thrown away.
Honestly,
and
it doesn't
turn
look
them into
that bad. I
something
kinda
new.
like
And they
it.
do this literally every day all over the world. That's how it is when you have very little. You make the best of what's available. And one thing is for certain, there's more than enough garbage to go around. These headdresses are pretty cool as art pieces though, aren't they?
They really are.
Number 2. The Tribes of Yore, the Brokpas and Ladakh. The Brokpas are a small ethnic group that's mainly living in a closed community in the Indian region of Ladakh. There are not many of this community left, and they're super fussy that nobody mixes with them. Marrying outside of the tribe is totally forbidden, so that's kind of creepy and weird, but anyways, they're known for enjoying wearing these fancy floral arrangements on their heads, so that is the aspect of their culture that we
That's
shall
not
look at
bad.
today.
It's
These
cute.
headdresses are apparently worn by the women even when
That's
they're
not
working.
weird,
Now,
no.
that's some dedication to the fashion, since it seems as though it's likely to be a tricky thing to keep balanced on top of your head like that.
Also true. Yeah, I won't lie, they look really heavy.
These headdresses contain the culture
It's
and
not
are
smart.
grown by... Number 1. The changing face of beauty in Northeast India. Sometimes things can change. That is the truth of many beauty standards in the end. Fashions change, ideas come and go, and cultures will get lost in the mess of modernization. That's what's happened to the Apatani tribe of the Zero Valley in northeast India. This once closed-off community had a very distinct style of beauty. The women had facial tattoos, earplugs, and nose plugs made out of wooden discs, and they wore the traditional dress
looks
of the
very
tribe that
painful.
was handmade in the village. But then things began to change, and nowadays only the very oldest remaining members of this tribe will still bear the marks of their once proud ancestors of beauty and
I don't
identity.
know, that
The
looks
elderly
really
women who
painful.
still wear the tattoo and nose plugs lament the shift in fashion amongst the younger generations, saying that their young women no longer look like Apatani women. They have shunned the beauty standards of the past and now wear Indian clothes, no longer having the tattoos and piercings of their culture. They say that the young Apatani look like they could be from any other tribe, and it's a sad situation for the older generations. But should beauty standards be dictated by history, or is there perhaps
Well,
some
perhaps
room for
something
change?
that isn't
So
so
there
painful.
you have it. We had a bit of a gawk